Hey y'all, I am in California. We came out here to put a job in and it wasn't ready. And I decided to come spend a few days away from my life to try to see if I can find some answers. I'm not so sure I found answers, but I did find some peace that I was looking for. But I've been reading the book of Jericho, the book of Joshua. Joshua was the person that came after Moses. It's about 500 BC. And Joshua is who God chose to lead the people into Canaan. He had accomplished a lot with Moses. He was going to conquer a lot. And I related to that. And in the second chapter, there is a woman that's not part of the Israelites. She's not doesn't have a reputation. She's called a harlot. She's not thought of well even amongst her own people. But she hears of these spies that are from the Israelites and decides in her own self she's going to hide them. And I can only imagine that she believed in the tales she had heard. I'm thinking that because the Israelites were well known back then, their God was called Terrible, which in translation meant awesome. He did awesome things. And so she believed it, and she decided to hide them. And as a result, they told her, before we overtake the city, you and your house will be saved. All my growing up life, I thought that meant her house, her actual structure of her house, which was not. Her house was destroyed with Jericho. But her house, her people, her family, her mother and father, everything she had was saved because of her heart, because of a decision she made. So Rahab saved her family because of the decision she made and her actions. If you flip over a couple of more chapters, I think it was chapter 9, the men of Israel go out to battle to take this particular area of Canaan again. This is after they've taken Jericho. And supposed to be just an easy, the city didn't have walls. I mean, it was supposed to be just an easy thing. And in today's society, we would say, they got their tail whipped and run. In the words of Wanda Joyce, they tucked tail and ran. When they got back, Joshua goes before the Lord and says, what happened? Well, his name was Achan. And for his actions, for his secret, for his heart, now he knew all the same things. He had heard all the same tales this Rahab had heard of what an awesome God. And they came across on dry land from the Red Sea. He knew all of this too, probably more so than Rahab did. And he made the decision to take some of the spoils that God had said burn. Don't take anything. And I thought it odd because some cities, he said just to destroy the inhabitants and keep the spoils. Others annihilated. Well, he took some robes and some silver and some gold. Not a little bit either. If you look at the amounts he took and research it, he took a small fortune. But the thing about it is, he would never be able to use it. This robes of silk that he stole, he would never be able to put them on and walk down the street. He could only dream of it. Because if he did, they would know his sin, which God exposed his sin anyway. So Joshua brings them forth, household by household. And Achan confesses, tells, it's in my tent. Because by then he knows he's caught. And the men go find it and bring it to Joshua. Joshua takes him, his family, his animals, his possessions, plus that great fortune that he stole, and to a valley, and they stone them and they burn all of it, and then they make a great mound over it. So he died because of his bad decision, along with the people around him, as well as the men that died in battle because of his bad decision. What does that all have to do with us today? I was raised my whole life with secrets. Secrets that were spoken secrets. Secrets that just from childhood you knew. You don't tell that. One of the worst things you can do to a child is have them keep a secret. It eats at that child every hour of the day. Even if you're a full-grown woman and you're a child of God and there's secrets, it eats at you because you know it's not right. I was raised probably like Achan, because Achan was alive and he had family and he had animals and he had all of this stuff. He evidently followed all the rules of Moses, and he followed all of this. He did. All my life I was raised in a very judgmental, materialistic environment. That the sins of the flesh and the sins, the 7 great deadly sins, it didn't matter. Keep it a secret. But you have to look the part. You have to act the part. Not be the part. Be the part would be better. You have to act the part. You don't associate with the world, because you're better. You don't associate with them, because walking down the aisle of the grocery store that had beer in it, the beer's going to jump off on you. You absolutely did not cut your hair. For any reason did you not cut your hair, because that's your glory. No, that's not what that scripture says. And you absolutely did not put a pair of pants on, even though the Bible said be modest in all that you do. Be modest. Even though the scripture that's based on is don't put on that pertaineth to a man, was under the law, that our dear Jesus died on the cross to give us more hope than what the law gave us. And I will remember, and it was years of hearing the church eat for breakfast, dinner, and lunch at the dinner table. I know more about some of you than I ever should have known. Trust me. Y'all talk about I tell everything I know. It would shock you at the secrets I know that I will take to the grave with me. But anyway, so all of that was okay. That was fine. Just make sure you look the part. Dress the part. And you had to go to church, even though church, in a church building, where you go sing 2.3 hymns, collect an offering, listen to the message, then go home or go to Dairy Queen, is fairly a new. You don't find it in here. But in our lifetime, if you didn't go to church, you must have been backslid. Even though I watched my mom struggle her whole life And to go to church, she was looked down on. Church was not church was not in my lifetime what it should have been. But we looked the part. Achan looked the part. Achan acted the part instead of just being the part. Rahab didn't look the part, didn't act the part, but she was. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Are you surrounding yourself with people that understand the message of grace and the beautiful message of salvation Jesus Christ gave us? Are you being that part? Or are you acting the part? Do you do all the right things? You go to church, you tithe, you look the right way, you teach in Sunday school, you help the homeless, you give to everything. Are you acting the part? Are you being the part? Think about it. Because for 50, we'll just say 50 because we don't want to know how old we are. For 50 years, I've acted the part. And it's just about drove me insane out of my brain. But the last 2 years, acting the part wasn't getting it. There's no peace in acting the part. Achan didn't steal to help his life. He didn't steal because he was hungry. He didn't steal because he needed something. He stole because of greed, because he let material things get a hold of him. Make sure the people you surround yourself with have their heart in the right place. Even if the rest of the world around you says, how in the world can you be around that person? I'm around that person because they do the right thing. Do the right thing. I want to encourage somebody out there, and I can say this because I'm walking it. If tomorrow I go back to Texas and I lose everything I own, and believe me, that's a very real possibility, I have Jesus. I have never experienced what I've experienced the last 3 months. This word will save you. Having a conversation with Jesus Christ daily, hourly, sometimes momentarily. He's listening to you. And He cares. And the one thing that I've learned over the last 2 years, sometimes our miracle doesn't come. Sometimes it doesn't. But we're left with the greatest miracle of all. We're left with Jesus Christ. Easter meant more to me this year than it ever has. Easter did not mean a new dress, a new purse, going to Sunday school and hearing the message of the crucifixion. That meant nothing to me. This year, I saw Jesus Christ and what He did for me. I got the message of grace. Grace is not holiness, because we are filthy rags. We battle this flesh daily, hourly. We battle this flesh. Grace tells us He has my number. He knows me. When He looks at me, He doesn't see this flesh. He looks at my heart. When Jesus Christ looks at you, does He have your number? Have you put your little mark next to Him that you're the one you choose? Because right now, and I say this with all the peace that I have found in the last 3 months, Jesus Christ isn't in a church. He isn't on TV. Jesus Christ is right here. Jesus Christ is in your heart. And when He lives within your heart, you feel that. You don't have to look apart to do the right thing. You don't have to have a good reputation to do the right thing. What you have to have is Jesus in your heart. I love y'all. I really do. All of you. Even those that you don't think I do. I love y'all. Some of y'all mean the world to me. You never stop praying for me. I wasn't going to cry, but I got to be under the 20-minute mark. I just wanted to share with y'all today and give you a little hope that if you do the right thing, some secrets are not secrets. They're just things you don't tell. Rahab had a secret, but it wasn't a secret. She just didn't offer the information. And it saved her family. Achan had a secret that destroyed his life. Make sure, whatever it is you have in your heart, that you have it in your heart because you're protecting it, and not in your heart because you're afraid of anybody else knowing, because it'll destroy you and everybody around you. Love y'all.